Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. Welcome to Hunting for Answers, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Hunter. In Salt Lake City, Utah, a young mother preparing for another child stepped out, expecting to be right back. She dropped off some of her belongings at a relative's home and said she would return. But this time, she didn't. What followed was a disappearance that didn't fully add up, a timeline that would later change, and years where answers stayed out of reach. Decades later, investigators said they believe they know what may have happened. But even now, one question still remains. Where is she? This is the story of Aletha Jo Williams. Aletha Jo Williams was 25 years old. She was a mother, and at the time she disappeared, she was about 6 months pregnant. She was living in Salt Lake City, Utah. Police list her last known area as near 1700 South and West Temple. To those who knew her, this was not someone who would simply disappear without contact. She had a child and family who expected to hear from her. And on that day, there was no reason to think she wouldn't come back. For years, the date connected to Aletha's disappearance was March 6, 2002. This is the date investigators first worked from. She had stopped by a relative's home, left some of her belongings, and said she would be back. There was no indication anything was out of place. But this time, she did not return. Hours passed. Then, more time. The kind of time where you start to wonder if something isn't right. As investigators worked to piece together what happened, one part of the case didn't add up: the timeline. Years later, detectives said new information suggested something different, that Aletha may have disappeared earlier than first believed, possibly as early as November 2001, or sometime in the early months of 2002. A shift like that raises a different question. If the timeline was off, how long was she gone before anyone realized? For years, the case remained open. Aletha was listed as a missing person. No confirmed sightings, no recovery, no clear explanation. Time passed, months turning into years, and a family left in that space between holding on and not knowing if the next call would bring answers. In 2014, investigators reopened the case. Detectives returned to the details, conducted additional interviews, and followed up on new information. By this point, the possibility of foul play was being considered. But even with a fresh look, answers did not come. And in the years that followed, the case did not move forward. Eventually, after years of questions, they identified a man named Michael Vincent as the person they believe was responsible for Aletha's death. According to investigators, Vincent knew Aletha through his first wife, who was one of her close friends. Police records also show he had a prior criminal history, including assault and domestic violence. Police said he was deceased at the time and would not face charges. For the first time, investigators said they now believe they know what may have happened. But even now, this case does not feel complete. Aletha Jo Williams has never been found. Investigators have said their conclusion was based on information gathered over time, but some of that has not been shared publicly. So while investigators have reached a conclusion, for her family, the most important part is still missing. Aletha is still a missing person, a case investigators consider closed but not resolved. Because until she is found, one question remains: where is Aletha Jo Williams? Our thoughts are with Aletha Jo Williams' family and loved ones. As we close this episode, sharing her story helps keep attention on the fact that she is still missing. While investigators have reached a conclusion, Aletha has never been found. Anyone with information that could help locate her is encouraged to contact the Salt Lake City Police Department. Contact details are included in the show notes. For more cases and updates, follow Hunting for Answers. You can also connect with us through our Facebook group and find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If there's a story you believe deserves attention, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Until next time. Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from the Black Effect Podcast Network, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.